Okay, so have you ever experienced that quiet kind of sabotage, not from some obvious rival, but maybe from someone you really trusted?
Yeah, like that college friend, maybe.
Yeah.
You start a business together, share everything.
And then bam, they use that shared research, your ideas, to get ahead right behind your back.
Exactly. It's this really shocking paradox as we're diving into today. Why that deep familiarity, that closeness, can actually become a huge professional liability.
And flipping that,
Yeah.
why someone you might, actively dislike or even fear a bit could turn out to be your most reliable ally, the one who really delivers.
It's counterintuitive, isn't it? Because we hold friendship, that dosty, as almost sacred, especially when things get serious, high stakes.
But the sources we looked at, they really challenge that idea. They suggest pretty strongly, actually, that when the pressure cooker environment is on, well, incentives kind of trump feelings.
Incentives become this fundamental truth of power, much more reliable than just liking someone.
Okay, let's break this down. So the core idea is stop putting blind faith in friends, professionally speaking, just because you like them.
And maybe even learn how to actively use the perspective of skeptics or critics, maybe even rivals.
Whoa, hang on. Use enemies. Are you saying we should, go find people we can't stand and force ourselves to work with them? That just sounds awful. Efficient, maybe, but awful.
Well, no, it's not about seeking out misery. Not at all. The goal is actually clarity. See, in those high-pressure situations, big careers, company goals, and the real problem often isn't outright malice.
Okay. So what is it then?
It's complication. It's comfort. Your friend, right?
Yeah.
Their instinct is to protect your feelings.
Yeah.
Keep things smooth, warm.
Sounds nice. But,
But it creates massive blind spots. They won't tell you the hard truth because they don't want to upset you.
right, whereas the rival or that critic you kind of dread seeing in meetings, they owe you zero personal loyalty.
Exactly. So they protect your outcomes
Mhm.
because, frankly, their own reputation is probably tied to it.
Okay, I can picture that. The friend might say, it's fine, we can fudge those numbers a bit. Comforting, maybe?
But dangerous. And the critic, the one you find annoying, they're the one in the meeting saying, look, this data is weak. This whole plan could fail.
And you might resent them in that moment, but they just saved the project or the quarter by forcing that really uncomfortable but necessary correction.
And this breakdown of friendship in professional power settings, it's actually predictable. It boils down to about 3 main pitfalls.
Okay, what are they?
First, that familiarity. It just breeds entitlement. They feel they deserve a place, deserve perks, maybe regardless of actual performance, just because they're your friend.
Yeah, I can see that. Number 2.
Critique becomes personal, instantly. If you, as the leader, need to give tough feedback, it's not heard as professional advice. It's heard as a personal attack.
Leading to resentment, defensiveness,
Yeah.
not improvement.
Precisely. And third, there's this weird thing with gratitude. It clouds judgment. You feel like you owe them something just for being your friend, this kind of silent tax.
So you can't make tough calls impartially. Neither can they, maybe.
Right. Okay, so if friendship, if familiarity creates these blind spots, this entitlement, how do you actively bring in clarity instead?
This is where that idea of aligning incentives gets really interesting, isn't it?
It really is. And the sources are clear.
Yeah.
This isn't about being manipulative or sneaky. It's about building good structure.
Structure.
Think about it. An enemy, or let's just say a critic, someone objective, if they have something clear and measurable to gain by delivering results for you.
They're actually more reliable, more predictable than a friend who maybe takes your goodwill for granted because, well, what do they have to lose materially?
Exactly. You're creating a shared scoreboard. There's this great example from the film industry. An assistant director, let's call her Mira.
All right.
She had a chance to work with this director who was known to be really critical of her publicly, kind of her enemy. Her friends were like, don't do it.
Right. Sounds like bad news.
But her mentor gave different advice. Said, no, work with him. He's under huge pressure to deliver this film. Huge financial stakes.
Okay. So his success depended on.
On everyone performing, including Mira.
Right.
If she did well, he looked good, the film got made. Their incentives suddenly aligned perfectly.
That shared goal, getting the film greenlit, became more important than their personal feelings.
It totally overrode the personal stuff. It's like, two rival cricketers batting together in a tense run chase. Suddenly, the scoreboard is all that matters. The rivalry just pauses.
So the big takeaway here is you have to separate warmth from reliability. Is that fair?
I think that's a great way to put it. Warmth is how people make you feel. Emotion. Reliability is about how they behave when it really counts. predictable action.
And you don't need to trust their heart, necessarily. You need to trust the structure, the agreement, even if it's just a spoken one with clear expectation.
You use structure, contracts, clear metrics, whatever it takes to turn that potential rivalry or even just objective distance into measurable performance, into results.
So connecting this all up, friendship, the professional kind, it's like a garden, right? You water it with affection, shared history, sentiment.
Yeah, it needs that nurturing. But power, achieving big goals, that's more like a machine.
A machine? How so?
Well, you tighten it with precision. With contracts, clear roles, measurable outputs, it needs structure to function predictably.
You need both in life, the garden, and the machine. But you got to keep their operating systems separate. Don't try to run the machine on affection alone.
Because power ultimately is about predictability. Knowing people will do the right thing, behave correctly, because their own incentives line up perfectly with yours.
Sentiment might kick things off, start a relationship.
But it's structure that sustains them, especially under pressure. Structure keeps things clear and functional.
Okay, so this brings us to a really practical, maybe uncomfortable question for everyone listening right now.
Yeah, if you're serious about gaining clarity, about building real momentum towards your goals, take a hard look.
Who is that one person, maybe, in your professional life that you need to create some professional distance from? Because that personal closeness, that friendship, is actually getting in the way of the role.
And, maybe even more challenging,
Yep.
who is that one critic, that really tough, maybe even grating person whose perspective you've been avoiding?
But whose brutal honesty, if you could just structure the interaction right, if you could align your incentives.
Whose honesty could actually be the thing that sharpens you, that pushes you to the next level, something to really think about.